Today is Wednesday, October 6th, 2021. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 41, Week 3.
This episode was titled My $1 Million Mistake, and that was said by Liana. So we jump right to it. It's Yase back after Tribal Council Night 5, and Liana's having some trouble. She's not happy.
No, she's crying, talking about how hard it is.
The Xander vote would have been genius, she says, and she wants to make big moves.
Is she saying that Tiffany forced her and Evvie's hand, or Evvie and Tiffany made the decision and she didn't push hard?
Yes.
All of the above.
Yeah, and she's crying, but her dad had given her some foresight. He said, change is the only constant out there, so just roll with it.
Yep.
Be ready. But she wasn't, because she missed the beware advantage, the second beware advantage that cropped up. So the camera was showing us that she was moving all around it. It was there near the fire that she was tending, and she was lamenting not making the genius move.
That was ironic. You have to know the
editors were playing with her a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, but I was talking about, wow, she missed it. It was right there. And you said, yeah, but it was dark out there.
Yeah,
but
we
it was fire.
Benefit of the night vision, but they're shadows, and it's kind of tucked under the log, and that's a big difference. Daytime, nighttime.
And you're not really looking for something basically in the fire.
And she was pretty emotional, so we know that when you get emotional.
Well, if that was the same time, we're assuming it was, but okay.
But how surprised were you that Tiffany ends up finding
Tiffany
it?
just had a feeling she was supposed to get up.
Mm-hmm.
So she got up and went over by the fire, and she didn't miss it. She saw it immediately.
In the morning light, it was quite clear, but then she realized she needed to share it with Evvie and Liana because they saw her.
Really? Did you really have to share it?
Well, she was pretty sure that they were aware of it, that they knew that she got it, I think. Otherwise, she said she would have preferred to keep it a secret.
Okay, well.
So we find out about this second beware advantage. They're going to have to get on a boat at night.
And Liana cries again.
Well, she missed it. I think
that was right there.
Some of that crying was from the same confessional she was doing. They just split it up.
She was talking about Tiffany finding it, and that could end up being her $1 million mistake because she didn't find it.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, well, Tiffany found it. Then we move on over to the Green Tribe, and Brad wakes up to the other people down at the beach laughing, and it's like, hey.
JD is regaling them with past Survivor clips. He's quoting Wu, and I forget who else there. So they're all having a good time yucking it up. But he's all about getting the chores done.
Gotta get the chores done.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not going to do it, I guess he will. But that's good, because he finds the beware advantage.
Yep. Looks like everybody's going.
Yep, same as Tiffany. Then they run right on over to the Luvu tribe, and Naseer tells Sydney he wants to get out Danny and keep Deshawn because he's a nice boy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh my, Naseer.
I did like that Naseer was observant enough to realize that Sydney was likely a double agent.
She was telling them, yeah. Well, I imagine people were giving him looks, and to see the other people is like, yeah, she told.
Mm-hmm. Ratted him out.
So he has to go try to do some damage control.
So far, he's pretty much playing exactly the way I expected. He just doesn't have the savviness to negotiate the social constructs there.
Well, last week we heard Sydney say, "Well, we can't do without Naseer. We can't survive without Naseer." And now,
Different story this week.
now she thinks, "Yeah, we could get rid of him now. Now we could get rid of him. We'd be fine."
And she ends up being the one to spot the beware advantage for the blue tribe. So she grabs it and hustles off to check it out. And she opened it and read it without realizing what it said on the outside. Did you get that?
Yeah,
that
she said,
sequence was.
"Oh, that said beware."
Yeah.
Oops. I forgot to read that part.
That this impulsiveness may come up again.
Okay, and then back over to Ua. On day 6 again, JD's upset because he can't find an advantage or anything. Maybe somebody already found it.
And then so he goes through the list and tells us how all the others might have, the other 4 might have already found it.
And Ricard knows almost as much about the game as he does.
Mm-hmm.
So he could be a threat.
He when they had him in the confessional and he was saying those things and he was yelling and saying, "I still haven't found it." I thought, you're acting up for the camera and you sound like a toddler.
Yes. Okay.
He's definitely entertaining.
Well, and then they flash on who really does find it. Brad. Maybe if they were doing more chores, they might have seen it.
In a flashback. That's right, because hard work is rewarded, as Brad had told us before, and yet it struck a second time when he and Genie were out looking. He finds the 3-way immunity idol, beware advantage too, so he is just on fire. He's hot, hot, hot.
Though Genie wishes it was her that saw it first, but she didn't. Brad
He declared
did.
that she was his closest ally when he mentioned that. And
Well, she said he was her closest ally, too.
Yeah. And, oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think
Genie,
you
I made the
flipped
note
it.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Genie said he was her closest ally.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Interesting.
so Shan wasn't
These are
number
the
one.
insights that we were waiting for.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
we've
thought,
been
oh, I
looking
would have
forward to
thought
getting more of
Shan
this.
was,
Yeah.
but good to know. It's
Yeah.
Brad for Genie.
And we learned that Brad ends up with the broccoli phrase, little trees. And then they both realized that Xander had the butterfly one of
Yep.
the dead relatives.
It was like, oh,
that's when
why
he said that
that
goofy thing. Yeah.
So, and they,
And
he
then,
just,
oh yeah, that's when Brad said it. He said, "Chan's number 1 with me and Genie." So that's not even clear, is it?
well, I don't know if he said
He's
just
number one with 2.
but they're in a 3-way alliance, is what I.
That's how you took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in a 3-way alliance,
But
and
I think he said that Shan's number 1 with me and Genie.
Yeah. Well, regardless.
And so he shares.
told her, yeah.
Yes, this is for us. And he enlists Shan's help for the boat trip.
And I wondered at the time, was that a mistake? Is it good to share all of that with her, or
Yeah, because he just like Xander shares the whole deal. So
because we know she's
the
close.
boat trip and the idol.
She's developed relationships with everyone. Anyway, Brad.
What'd you think about his body double that he built?
Oh,
They made it look like JD had spotted him because his eyes were open looking over there, but we never know how dark it is.
yeah.
But I like that he went through the effort, and it didn't look like Shan did anything to help in the end.
No, I don't know that he even asked her to, but
Well, he told her earlier that he was going to need her help with that, but
I didn't see her do anything, so.
that's what I was just saying.
But
yes.
I think probably what he meant was if someone noticed something, she could make up some story or something.
I wish they would have shown how long he rolled. I don't think, because they showed him rolling away after he made his body double to lay there on the beach for him. But I wonder
Well,
if he did 10 yards or 50 yards.
My thought was that could really trip you up. You've got no other reason to put all that stuff there to look like you unless you were up to something. Now, if you'd done nothing, just not been there, they would have thought you had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, you could have
Whatever.
potentially said
You could have
that.
made up something. Oh, my tummy was upset, blah, blah, blah. Or I just couldn't sleep and I went for a walk. But when you put a pile of stuff there to make it look like you're there, when you're not, then if they see that, they know something's up.
You're definitely sus, yes. And then they do quick cuts so you can see Sydney leaving from Luvu and Tiffany leaving from Yase there, and all getting on their boats, and then they show up and Brad's got a torch as all three of them walk up the beach. What'd you think about how they varied it this time with the dilemma?
I thought it was really the same thing, just done a little differently, and where they could have, well, shut up. But it was basically the same, just the reward was what they got would be different, is what I mean.
Yeah, I think there's a variation though. So they had it so that if all three chose the tarp, they would all get a tarp.
That's the same as the other one.
Same as protect.
Yes.
And for the steal a vote versus extra vote, if all three chose it, they would lose their vote at the next tribal
Same
council.
as the other one.
But this time, if there's a split vote, then the people who chose steal get a steal, and the people who chose tarp get no tarp. So that's where it was different, and that's the point of my question.
Very slightly different, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty significant though.
Okay. They got to keep
There's
their vote,
more
right?
pressure to try for them to try for a steal.
But it's more about the
Yeah,
vote,
it's
and
a
they got to
wash.
keep their vote.
It's a wash. It's like
Yeah, so-
it never happened essentially.
Yeah, it's just the first time they'd offered something a little more tactile for their reward, but they got to keep their vote. So that's basically what it was before. But anyway, it's
But they didn't have an option to get something extra.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying is different there.
If it'd
So
been raining a lot, I would have said do the tarp.
Sydney said that she was leaning towards the tarp.
Yeah.
At which point Tiffany jumps on it and said, "Okay, then Brad and I'll choose
Do the steal a vote.
the steal," which means Sydney gets nothing
But
and they get steals.
obviously, Sydney didn't keep it from Tiffany that she wasn't trusting her then. Tiffany read that well because she didn't. She said the next day, about trying to gain some points with her by not going after the steal a boat. Mm-hmm. Though I don't know how that would really benefit her. I think she should have gone after steal a boat.
Brad tells us you only win by taking risks, so he's all about the steal, even though that tarp would be nice when it started raining.
Yep, served you well, Brad.
And
But I'm
Sydney
sure he's glad he didn't leave him
again
a
said
tarp.
she was leaning towards the tarp, and Tiffany, they left that a mystery, wanting to know. She was asking the question, "What's best for my game?"
Yep. So, what would have stopped somebody else from going to tree mail before them the next morning?
Nothing, I guess.
How do you...
I don't know if they control when they can go or not. I don't guess anything.
Well, anyway, Tiffany's hoping she gains some goodwill with Sydney, but number one, you don't know if you or Sydney will even be in the game later on, but I guess you gotta play as though you will be. So, okay, you never know. It could have paid off, or it could pay off. But anyway, she wasn't worried. Do you think she gave something away because Sydney was making such a point about, well, you're going to tribal council, you cannot, or you guys just have 4 people, you cannot lose your vote.
Tiffany jumped
You
right in
have
and said,
to.
"I could."
Yeah, I could really. You think she gave anything away?
It certainly
By
gave her
that,
pause. It made her stop to think,
It's
right?
kind of like, man, I don't really need a vote. Evvie and Liana can vote out Xander. No problem. I don't have to have a vote.
Although she didn't appear to give any details away.
No, but without saying anything, I think because the other 2 guys are gone, they could deduce that on their own. So,
Okay, time for the community challenge / reward. Probes, after they all filter in, Probes ask him, "How are you feeling?" And Genie says, "Not too good without rice."
yeah.
And then Brad jumps in to give his little broccoli line, which he flubbed.
Totally flubbed. Come on, Brad. Obviously, he was nervous about saying it because he couldn't even remember it.
Xander did a good cover for having to say that the second time, huh?
I thought he handled it very well both times, actually. And certainly this time, I thought, okay.
And then we hear nothing from Luvu, so I guess that did not help Deshawn.
Nope.
So I was hoping it would all activate and they would have those idols and get their votes back, but that did not happen this time.
No.
Okay, so with this challenge, it's going to be the first two tribes again, and they're going to win plates of fruit. So the first tribe to win gets the big plate, the second tribe to win gets the smaller plate of fruit, which Probst tells us is just packed with nutrients.
Yeah, and they probably don't, have
sugar.
any growing out there because of, being there for so many different
Yeah.
seasons.
Although they were away for a little while, that might have helped,
yeah.
Because they said during the pandemic there's some areas the wildlife rebounded, and I think some fishing areas had rebounded, things like that. So maybe that happened in Fiji too.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the fruit though, or how long that takes to produce, but they're happy to have any food because we have not been seeing them eat.
Right. With the exception of that extra clip last week where Brad was able to
get the fish.
A couple small fish, which they just
teeny tiny fish.
palm of your hand, the biggest one maybe.
Oh, I thought it was smaller than that.
He said that they just so thoroughly enjoyed them, even that tiny bit. Okay, so Heather, Erika, and Genie sit out this time since we can only have 4 competitors. What'd you think about the course?
I thought it was actually quite good.
The biggest thing that stood out to me was that there was no puzzle at the end. It was just an action required, a physical action.
Well,
and that meant, Yase's got a chance. There is a chance for Yase this time.
Chance.
Whereas if there had been a puzzle, I'm not sure Xander could have done everything and done the puzzle.
Well, you and I both chose Green Tribe to lose this week, so.
Yes, we had. We were hoping something like this would indeed happen, and that seems to be how it's playing out.
We both chose JD separately this time, but no influence. I got my picks in first.
So they have to swim out, and then they have to traverse a rope bridge, which looked like it might have really shut them down, but Tiffany somehow made her way through that.
She did great.
And even though she did go super slow, Xander was able to speed up. He went last, and they got there about the same time as Uwa did.
I don't know that she was much slower than JD or Ricard.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that either. I think she was a little more, but then
both kind of slow.
That was all kind of compressed. Luvu, as we're used to at this point, got through the obstacle portion and dug up the bag that was full of coconuts and 5 sandbags that they needed to toss up onto the 5 different platforms that were suspended above them there. So they got started first, but then everybody was in it, and it turned out that I believe Xander got the first one, right?
I think that challenge would have been a lot harder had they not sat Erika out because of her height. Getting from the rope up onto where they have to get get off to then jump off. Even the guys were having trouble doing that, some of them.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if she could have physically reached it.
She might have struggled. You're right. It might be where Tiffany had an advantage.
So.
And it was Tiffany that landed the first bag for Yase.
Yep.
It wasn't Xander.
She did. It wasn't Xander.
Yeah, she did so much better.
I think he got all the others, but she got the first one.
Yeah.
So. Good on her.
And Probst gave JD some style points for trying to shoot layups, but he was not effective.
JD wasn't, Ricard wasn't. That's why I really thought that we chose them to go, and I chose. We discussed Brad, Ricard, JD. That's why we went with JD, because I thought he isn't always the best in challenges, or Ricard, and Brad has
And Sarah City,
done better.
he couldn't stop talking about Survivor, which gets old, especially
Yeah.
come day 6, 7. At this point, if he's been jabbering for a week about
Yeah.
the same things over and over again, so it seemed.
Yeah, we've heard that many
Yeah.
times before, that it just got on their nerves.
Yep. So we were still optimistic when they showed him down at the beach doing Survivor quotes.
Yeah.
But okay, back to the challenge. Deshawn and Xander, they get their game going and they get their second and third bags. And then here comes Brad taking over and yells it. First, second, third
Yeah.
for Ua.
I was thinking, oh no, we chose wrong.
Yep. And then Xander gets the fourth, close to getting the fifth. And then Deshawn closes it out. So he
And
gets.
I literally screamed. I didn't mean to, but I did.
Yeah, so
I was excited.
Deshawn and Xander got the first and the second immunity there for Luvu and Yase. And Ua is going to tribal council.
Okay, my thought was Xander is going to do anything and everything within his power to win,
Yeah, you thought that, did you?
because he knows surely that he's next up.
On the block, yeah.
So I knew he would work as hard as he possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
That's not always enough, but I knew he'd give everything he had.
And he and Tiffany got it done. So they got second, and they got a
Yeah.
small plate of fruit, and Probe said they got their flint back. Even though we saw Liana, they had obviously been banking their coals because they had fire previously, so
Somebody knew to do that.
yeah. So Brad's heading to a tribal council, he tells us, with no vote, no steal a vote, because if you don't have a vote, you can't steal a vote. And no idol.
Yep. That is really. I don't know how much I like that. Is that they don't get a vote until they get.
You almost
The
wish they'd
idol.
warn them or something that could happen, huh?
No, not necessarily one.
Like maybe they could put Beware Advantage on the
No.
outside.
No.
Don't open it.
No, don't make me flip you on the nose.
Yeah.
You stuck that
Any-
nose over here.
Anything you want to say before we head back to camp with Ua?
No, let's go back to camp.
Okay, it's day 7 because this is a 2-day cycle this time, primarily 6 and 7.
Brad talks about how JD oversells himself, but he doesn't deliver.
Yep.
And he wants him out. And I thought, oh no, he said it right away. That's not usually a good sign.
No, but then,
I'm happy he said it.
JD
but-
gave us some hope because after he went down to the water to get, what did he go? He went to the restroom, right?
I don't
And he
know.
comes back and Shan said, "Hey, what's that?"
No, he went to get water.
Well, he was bringing her water bottle back, I think. But
Yeah. But
in
regardless,
any case, yeah,
who does that? She could see the paper
she spotted the extra vote that he
sticking
got
out
from
of his pants.
when he did the big climb on the mountain there. Yeah.
It's like, dude.
JD's got it under control. He said sorry.
Yeah, but she still didn't trust him.
So there's
Now-
hope for Brad, and this is really turning in our direction here. We're very optimistic at this point, right?
Yes. Well, Ricard doesn't trust him, but I really thought, no, I think she does not trust JD, and so I think she feels she's better off, even though we weighed it back and forth. But Brad is a big threat once he gets all that. And I thought, but if
But he's her big threat
He's
because
her
he's
big
partnered
threat.
with
Yes,
her.
he's partnered with her, and we really both felt like that she could manipulate Brad more easily than JD, and that Brad would be more loyal than JD. would.
Yeah, I think the loyalty was there. This is why I love
That's
this
why I
particular
thought.
segment. This was just perfect, pure Survivor in the difficulty in trying to weigh these different options right here and how challenging that could be. This was just textbook Survivor right here. How do you make this choice between when everything that Brad has powers up but he's incredibly vulnerable right now versus this guy who was actively working against you, whereas the other guy was working with you.
Yep.
Oh, such a tough decision. Now, we were biased. We were heavily biased. We wanted her to pick JD to go, but this was just fantastic Survivor. Just
Well, I was a little disillusioned when JD gave it to her. It's like,
Yeah.
what? What are you doing? And he's like, no, I'm going to give it to her as a form of trust.
or to
Dang
win
if it
back,
didn't
making
work.
that investment. Yeah.
Dang. I was like, no, now you got that. Take it and run, girl.
She says she'll give it back.
Miss Mafia Pastor.
She'll give it back when he's done being
Show him the
grounded.
door. Oh, yeah.
She didn't
she'll
say
give
after tribal council. She said you'll get it back when you're not grounded.
Yeah, but that was...
Now, you might think that meant after tribal council, but
Yeah, and I really still thought she would go keep Brad and get rid of JD.
And Shane
Yeah.
gave some more insight into, just how difficult this is, because when you can
Shane.
trust no one, but you have to trust someone, and you get invested in people that
Yep.
their success is your success, and you're trying to make these connections, you do get emotionally invested, she said, so it makes this kind of thing even more difficult.
Well, how can you not? I mean, I guess some people can separate that out. I would not be good with that. It would really upset me to have to vote either way, unless there was somebody I really didn't like and was against. It would be hard.
It seemed like it triggered a tragic memory because she
Yes.
shares a just a horrific backstory where she was having to choose between parents that her mom made
Yeah.
her choose between
Yes.
her mom and her dad when they got divorced.
So it feels the same, brings all that back up.
flared that back up. Yeah, so she was really rocking and rolling and reeling emotionally, in addition to having to weigh all these different perspectives and decide what her best move was. Just, again, fantastic.
Well, I kind of think that JD's his move paid off, made her feel indebted or something, or that he's more malleable.
There's a tangible difference between JD and Brad at that point. JD had given something,
Yep,
and she had it. She had that physical thing.
in her hands.
Yes.
But does she keep it?
Till he's grounded.
We'll see.
Not grounded, I mean.
We'll see.
Yeah.
He may still be grounded, but
Tribal Council. Oh, do you have something else you want to say?
nope.
Tribal Council Probst catches Shan because she ducks her head as soon as she sits down.
Dropped
It's
her
still
head.
weighing on her.
Boo-hoo.
Yep.
And of course, Jeff was very astute. He picked it up right away. And JD, he just said, I just couldn't land those bags. I tried. I just couldn't do it.
And once again told us because of how athletic he was.
And I'm thinking, you see that? He's pointing out, him and Ricard couldn't do it. Brad's the only one that could. But,
Card says he's leaning towards personal alliances over the strength of the tribe at this point.
and he wants to work with people he trusts, not people he doesn't.
Genie jumps in. That's not me because I voted for him.
Yeah.
So
Yep. She wrote his name down.
Yep.
And even said, he doesn't care about strength because that won't get him very far after the merge. But trust will. Strength doesn't get him anything.
Brad tells us the way you build trust is you say it and then you do it, so they see you delivering.
Well, Brad might be rethinking that about now.
And JD circles back and he said, "Yep, I dropped the crystals." What did you think of his crystals metaphor?
Yeah.
I guess he was trying for a tribal council moment. I like
Well-
how Shan busted his chops a little bit. It's better not to break the crystals to begin with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Meaning trust.
Yeah.
Don't break the trust, and then you don't have anything to repair. So she's still preaching at him a little bit, but
You got the classic setup from Brad, which Probst asked, "What's it going to be like after the vote?" And Brad said, "Well, it's going to make it stronger, and yes, it'll be bittersweet." And you're thinking, "Oh crap, it's Brad. It's not JD."
And well, I did like JD's analogy about, voting me off is just like scratching a mosquito bite, but it's going to come back. It's just that's only satisfying for just a few minutes, and then it's going to itch again.
Yeah, I wasn't so keen on it, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I just thought, nice try, dude. That doesn't really work.
He's still pushing his. My point was, he's still fighting to stay.
Yeah, he
still
makes
pushing
even
it.
shares some personal story
That's
again
right.
about how Survivor built him up and how he got to live vicariously through Survivor because he was puny and unathletic, but he was athletic anyway.
And even if
He wanted to play
is
Survivor.
cut short, which would have probably tugged at Shan more than the other stuff he was saying, the analogies, and she could blow that off, but
Gets to
the
play the
personal
youth card.
stuff,
It's all about the future. Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, it's time to vote. We get one vote for JD and one for Brad, and then done.
Brad's out.
Brad.
And you could see on Genie's face that she was not happy.
Shocked.
She was on the wrong side of the vote.
Looked
She's the
at
one who
Shan
cast that one for JD.
I don't think she had a clue that Shan was working both sides.
She got blindsided, it
That
appears.
is not
Yeah.
very observant, but that says Shan did it very well, I
Yes.
guess.
She had duped Genie and
And
Brad
yeah.
expertly.
Yeah,
She really did.
but at least Brad just said, "Hey, you got me." So he didn't see it, no clue, but he did. He did say in ending that he's going to go back to the ranch so he can surround himself with people he can trust.
Yeah, he's still a little hurt at
Can't
that point.
trust anyone out here. Well, wouldn't you be? I mean,
Oh,
you
absolutely.
Really, and her even being a pastor, that must hurt even more because some people believe
'Cause you
you
fell
can
for it.
totally trust a pastor.
Yes.
My mother being one of those.
Yep.
She's like, but he's a pastor. It's like he's also a person. So, but anyway.
So Genie knows what's up, but she's got no power to do anything about it.
Nothing.
The big question is what happens to the steal a vote? What happens to the three-way?
That's what
More
we don't
importantly,
know. Yeah.
what happens to that three-way immunity idol? So I got to believe it gets rehidden, that particular Beware advantage is going to get rehidden.
Well, Xander's going to wonder when he sees Brad's gone.
Otherwise, it's all wasted, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
And Genie, as far as we know, Genie's the only one who roughly knows how it was found because she was there with Brad when he found that one, the three-way idol, immunity idol, Beware advantage.
He might have told they might have told Shan though. If I were Genie, I don't think I'd tell Shan anything else. But maybe she could find it.
What did you think about the new Beware advantage where they had to go off in the night like that?
It was a little extra drama, but other than that, the having to be sneaky.
Those nighttime things seem like they check the box for fun, but they don't really present any risk. There's never been any
Nobody ever
penalty paid for
catches anybody doing it.
So
I think it's a bust in that respect, and I don't like it because I don't think it's as safe. I don't know how far they have to go in the boats, but I don't know, going out in the ocean at night in a tiny little boat, wherever we're going, would make me uncomfortable.
yeah, I think it's probably the case that,
It's not very far, but
well, it's not necessarily how far it is, but I imagine they can see where they're going once they get a little ways away from the beach.
yeah. And are they rowboats? Because otherwise, who wouldn't hear
No,
it
those
coming?
boats have motors.
But then why wouldn't they hear them coming?
Well, they, in the past, they've had them go a ways away from camp to get to the boat.
That's true.
It's had instructions for where to go, so
Yeah.
the boats can slide up in there kind of quiet and slide back out and then crank up and go. Although sound travels over water really far.
Yeah.
So,
Well, again, I'm not as thrilled about the nighttime stuff, but it was a little
I
added
think
drama, so
I'd be
okay.
yeah, I'd be willing to bet that they hear the sounds of boats at night. With things coming and going.
Yeah,
And
normally.
just and even during the day, so it isn't that big a deal.
Okay. Well, and there could be camera people and switching off. There's somebody
Supplies.
around.
Yeah, well, the production
24/7,
crew
so
is
they
coming
could be
and
coming
going.
and going.
Yeah,
So. That's true.
no big deal.
That's
There's
true.
cover.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right.
So you disappointed that
bye-bye,
Brad's
Brad.
out?
Well, I am.
Are you
but
surprised?
Mostly because I didn't get a point again. But
I did have a safe point
I'm
on
not
him
really
from
that
early on.
surprised. Actually, I thought he could be the next to go.
For all his willingness to take the risk, he was portrayed as representing the old
Yeah.
school version of the game.
Yes.
And so this was really a victory for those embracing the new survivor.
I started to like him more because he was playing.
Uh-huh.
Though I
And they
wasn't
yanked
sure
him
he
away.
should have trusted his alliance completely.
Well,
If you're going to
we
tell
had the
somebody,
knowledge to
just
know that.
share it with one, maybe. But
yeah.
Of course, that can come back and bite you too if you don't. So there's.
If you slip up the way JD did. I don't know that
Yeah.
we've seen anyone do that before. Maybe
well,
that's why she
that's the
kept him.
thing.
She's
It's
like, this guy's not
man.
competent to play the game. He's all talk and then he's a goofball.
Well, if she can talk him out of his extra vote that easily,
Yeah.
then please, I can
He
see
was the
why
better
she'd
mark.
want to get
Yeah.
because now she don't have to give it back, and he
Right.
doesn't have any power.
Right.
Right?
Let's. As far as I know, yeah.
Other than Genie and Ricard don't seem to care for each other, so that could be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So the three of them ganging up against,
You're saying they could deadlock at 2-2 if
Yeah.
JD were to team up with Genie. We haven't seen anything about that, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it seems like Genie might be in a bad place.
I think so.
She might actually
Poor
be
Genie.
behind JD at this point.
Yeah, because she's not done a lot in the challenges, and
She
they'll assume he'll be more physical than her, though they're not voting on physical.
Genie does represent a potential meat shield for Shantel,
Yeah.
so she does
True,
have some
but-
value in that regard.
But
to
Ricard
Shan.
doesn't trust her, and he trusts JD more. Obviously, he wanted to keep him over Brad and Genie, so I think she might be Genie might be in trouble.
Next time on Survivor,
Ooh, someone on the Yellow Tribe says, "You have to see this," and everyone goes running off.
Liana
Follow me,
reacts,
it's
yeah.
so crazy.
yeah,
It's like, what? And then it makes her mouth fall open. What could it be?
I think she's mugging for the camera, so I don't know that it's much of anything.
There's got to be something.
Yeah,
So, I don't know. Maybe they found food. Maybe they found chickens. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe they had fish swim
That
up
one-
on the
that one
shore
we don't
for
know
their
about.
eating.
The next one I'm a little
enjoyment.
more concerned about.
Oh, Sydney is upset, throws the machete, can't make a fire. Obviously, Naseer's trying to help her and teach her how.
And Erika
So-
says that Sydney is impulsive and reactive.
Yep, very reactive and impulsive, and so, that could hurt her. Or not.
And then it gets worse for Blue, because cut to Danny, and he tells us that Deshawn wants to throw the challenge. And Danny says, that is just a sin. And you see a snake, cut to a snake crawling along the ground. So that is not good. And we've seen that happen time and time again in Survivor, where the big winning tribe gets bored because they're not having to face risk. They're not having to play the game except to show up at challenges.
Well, the funniest thing is Erika must be back again now to the opinion of, well, we need Naseer if she can't make fire. Because, this week she said, nah, we don't need him anymore.
You
We
mean
got
Sydney?
this." Oh, what did I say?
Erika.
Oh, I meant Sydney.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
And so she probably changed her mind again.
I was just really hoping Blue wasn't having a lot of drama. Although there was a fantastic extra clip
Oh,
that
yeah,
I don't think we mentioned it, did we?
No, we haven't.
That we saw after the listener feedback show last week, and it's at Luvu, and Heather tells Sydney that, what was it? You stole my vote, or no?
No, she had a dream that
Heather had a dream that
Sydney stole her vote or something.
Yes, yeah.
She did something. You stole my. You
Yeah.
did this. Blah blah blah. And Sydney's like, but I didn't do it.
But it was a dream.
You
Right.
know.
And then it cuts to Heather, and she says, "I made it all up."
It wasn't true. I made it all up. I don't trust her.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I know.
I mean,
She's just trying to put
those
doubt in people's minds about her.
yeah, exactly. Those
to make
well, it might
people
be
not
working.
trust her.
It might be working.
But it might be working with
Usually,
Erika.
those extra clips like that don't have any impact.
Well, we thought
They're
it was
throwaway.
hysterical, though.
Yeah, well, I thought,
It's
wow,
like, whoa,
Heather's
little
got that
Heather.
much game.
Heather's being evil, and she
Yeah,
loves it.
Purple Heather. Yeah.
Yeah. I almost forgot her name this week.
She doesn't even participate in the
like,
challenges
oh,
at this
yeah,
point, so
Heather.
she's playing the game less than
She's-
everyone.
she has been
except
invisible.
She is playing the game.
Yeah.
She's deep in Sydney's head.
I want to see more of her because that clip was so funny.
That was intriguing. Yeah, did not expect
And I
that.
was
I hope
like,
that's not her highlight.
ooh.
That some tiny little clip like
Well,
that.
if it is, it was a good one.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, if nothing
And
else.
I hope
So-
they talk Deshawn down, because throwing challenges, that is just
yeah. I was like, Danny, don't you let him do
that's
that.
the path to self-destruction for a tribe.
Not my boy, Deshawn. Don't you be doing that. Well, and JD tells us that she made me feel terrible. She played me. I'm assuming he's talking about Shan.
Yes. Well, they cut to her there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that doesn't always mean anything, but that I
So what do you think? She kept that extra vote, huh?
She might have.
She's got it wound
She
up.
played me. It's like, yep, she played you. Mm-hmm.
It may have nothing to do
What
with
you
that.
gonna
but
do about it?
But that's a
Nothing.
potential answer. Yeah. Okay, how about a JSFL update?
I can do that. Okay, there are 4 people tied in first place in JSFL right now.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Narrowed down to
week
4.
3, yeah.
Week 3.
There were 11 people who lost their USB. 59 people, congratulations, earned a vote-off point for Brad.
That's a pretty substantial percentage there.
And I'm sorry for the 55 people who lost a safe point for Brad. Now, as far as the side challengers, we have a 3-way tie with 13 points. Cold Mike, Jeremiah, and Rebecca
Oh, Rebecca jumped up there.
with 12
Cold Mike.
points. We have Michael and Stacy. 11 points, Jake Kindred, Justin, and Parker. With 10 points, we have Seattle Randy. And with 6 points, Drew.
All right. Thank you, Drew. We appreciate you every week so much.
She's so mean.
Our side challenge, Buddy Drew, holding down the fort in the basement.
Yep. Hey, as soon as he starts getting those 5-point weeks, though, you can come back fast.
Yep. Well, fortunately, the end game, everything can change. So, just
That's
like
true.
Survivor.
Yep. All the main
So, on the
points
whole,
are
what did
in
you
the
think
end.
there, week 3,
I
episode 3?
loved it. I'm the only thing I don't like about Survivor right now is it's not long enough.
You wanted more?
I'm like, what? It's over already?
Yeah.
That was so fast.
Yeah, because when I told you, hey, they only got 10 minutes left for tribal council, you didn't believe me.
Like, what? No, you're right. You can't see the clock well. What time is it? It's like, that can't be.
Yeah.
And I thought, as soon as we were done, I thought, I just want to watch it again.
Yeah, just turn around and watch me.
So because we are taking notes, because our memories aren't
Yeah.
that good.
Yep.
And so we do take notes, and it's like I feel like I miss so much, and it goes so fast, and so I want to turn around and watch it right away, but we don't. We get up and record, but I believe I'm going to watch it again tonight.
Well, now that you don't have Big Brother to watch, yeah.
Well, I've got Tough as Nails.
As I said, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be better off rewatching Survivor.
So you can talk
More
about Big
entertaining.
Brother. You don't watch it.
Yeah. Definitely more entertaining to watch Survivor again. I'll be there with you. Well, we are looking forward to hearing what you thought about this episode. And we'd love to have you join us for the listener feedback show on Saturday. You can call and leave a voicemail at 206-350-1547, toll free 844-643-8737. You can record your own audio the way Shay did, and that turned out great. Keep up the good work. And then attach it and send it to us in an email, or you can write it up and we'll read it into the show if you're not quite ready to have your voice as part of the show yet. But I do want to encourage you to eventually head in that direction if you can. The email is joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. Feedback's due Pacific noon on Saturday. Anything else you want to add?
Okay.
What?
Just the way you said that. Pacific noon. Instead of noon Pacific time.
There we go. Even better.
I just thought it was funny. Honey.
All right, poet.
Okay, I'm getting punchy. It must be time to go.
Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.